All right, so we're talking about surge strength dryland programs and certification. If you don't know, hi everyone, introduce yourself. I am Chris Ritter. I'm a former swimmer, swim coach, and strength coach. Started Ritter Sports Performance a long time ago, created the Surge Strength Academy more recently, and we're going to talk about our dryland programs as well. And please, like I said, this is an interactive webinar. Even though I can't see your chat right now, I definitely want to engage you at the end with the questions. So make sure you have any good questions, put them in again at the Q&A when we get there. But especially, I was wondering if we're going to have a lot of new people, so I'm glad I put this in. I wanted to talk about kind of the origin of surge strength a little bit. So we have to go all the way back to my high school days there, sporting my Letterman jacket. And I was really into swimming, so much so that I would do doubles on club practices, then high school practice on top, started adding dryland in, just trying to do everything I can, right? I was a slow distance swimmer, so just figured I would outwork everyone and try to achieve the best that I could in the sport. And my enthusiasm quickly turned into injuries, and the dryland in particular accelerated that. So, getting on the bench press, doing a couple things. Oh, you feel the shoulder pop or click. Oh, not a problem. I'm going to keep pushing through. I'm a tough distance swimmer, right? And then that turned into my senior year, pretty much not being able to swim at all, was just doing a lot of kick. Was able to swim a little bit at around the championship time, but didn't do anywhere near what I wanted to because I really wasn't swimming that whole season. And that then really affected my college swimming experience and all of that. But needless to say, bringing it back to, I understand how important dryland can be. And I have seen how it can put you down a real negative career path in swimming if you're not approaching it right. But then in the same hand, I've seen how much positive it can affect and accelerate your development in the sport. And no matter where you are on this spectrum, whether you are just kind of dipping your toe in the water, maybe you're a master swimmer who's been out of it for 20, 30 years, getting back into it, or if you're like one of the Olympians that I've worked with, nobody along this spectrum wants to deal with injuries. And that's the bottom line. And unfortunately, with dryland, the built-in mentality is let's just work harder. Let's be, get sweaty, get tired, tongues hanging out, that kind of approach. I approach it, especially from my personal perspective, as let's do no harm first. Let's try to prevent injuries because swimming is such a grueling, repetitive sport anyway. I think about dryland as a way to bolster your body and almost have more armor on your body, especially in points that are irritating for swimmers, like your shoulders, maybe low back, knees if you're a breaststroker, stuff like that. So I think about dryland as a way to enhance what you're going to get out of the water. I am not trying to turn you into an Olympic weightlifter or train you like a football player. I understand that swimming is your number one priority, and we want to get you enjoying it better, moving faster in the water, and just feeling good overall. And so going back to these exercises, and especially in the last few years, I feel like it's picked up the pace, unfortunately, is you scroll through social media or YouTube or something like that, and you're like, oh, that exercise looks good. I'm going to add that in. Oh, that looks good. I'm going to add that in. Ooh, that looks really hard. I'm going to add that in. And it's okay. I'm not trying to shame you if you did that route. I sometimes get into that trap as well, but that is not a process. It's not, hey, let's cross our fingers, close our eyes, hope no injuries happen. Oh, I found a couple exercises off of social media. I'm going to jumble them together and hope that the program comes out. This is a disastrous recipe. And we're trying to change that approach with surge strength. And mainly it starts with how we talk about dryland. So a goal of dryland should not be how tired can you get? How sweaty can we get you? How sore can we get you? Those are bad metrics for if your goal is enhancing swimming performance. If you're doing other things, maybe we can have a discussion about that. But for swimming, and I've been doing this a long time, seen a lot of different swimmers, a lot of different results and methods. It comes back to, are we getting the swimmers more athletic and stronger? If we're doing that, we're on the right track. And sometimes that ends up with fatigue in the dryland session. I'm not saying we're never tired when we train swimmers or help coaches with their swim program and their dryland specifically, but the chasing of the fatigue should not be your prime goal with that. It's about athleticism and strength. And I've learned this from a lot of different ways. So I like to take things and mush them together and see what works for me. And so I've taken a lot of different certifications, had a lot of different perspectives, worked with a lot of different coaches and athletes. And from that is what comes out in surge strength and what we offer. Like I said, been doing this a long time in terms of around the sport of swimming, helping as a coach. And so let's dive into the Dryland programs. This is by far our most popular and longest running too. So we've been doing this since 2009, right when the iPhone was just coming out, when apps were just a thing. In fact, for the first few years of doing this, we did not use an app. I was using a private YouTube channel and sending Excel PDF workouts. It's kind of hideous looking back on it that we actually started this way, where you're just printing stuff out. And now it's so much slicker with the apps and the phone and private access and chatting and all of that. So it's really cool to see. And this is just some of the swimmers that we've worked with over the years. Did want to highlight one really early case. This was probably 2 or 3 years in, if I remember right. And we were just getting started. I just had a few master swimmers. It was just me kind of getting the program up and going. And Bruce in the middle there, he was coming off some injuries, wanted to get back into the sport, swam in high school. I can't remember if he swam in college or not, but wasn't anything serious if it was. And had been out of the water for 20 years, wanted to get back in it. You see here at the top line of kind of where we started. He couldn't even do a pull-up. Okay, so drop down pull-ups are where you start with your chin above the bar and then slowly lower yourself down. So he could only manage 5 of those. In a little over 2 years, we got him from there to doing 3 chest pull-ups where he's pulling the bar all the way to his chest with, oh, by the way, 55 pounds attached around his waist. And I had never seen him in person, not once through this 2+ years that we got it. I was able to actually connect with him at a Masters Nationals after he achieved all this stuff, which was really cool to kind of reminisce about what we'd accomplished over the years. But we did all of that completely remotely. And so now even we're leveraging technology even more to be able to do that. And overall, I appreciate as much as the wins, the records that Bruce achieved, it was how he felt, his body, his enjoyment in the sport, being able to kind of trash talk his buddies like, yeah, I'm going to beat you. I'm training with Surge, and being able to get that power off the blocks. And then just yesterday, we published this article on SwimSwam about one of the very recent athletes we've worked with. He decided to take a gap year and so didn't go right into college, wanted to get a D1 scholarship. That was his goal. It didn't happen for him in kind of the normal process of going right into college after high school. So he decided to take a gap year, and Dryland was a big focus for him. So he reached out to us along with his parents. We started in late summer there. And then he really needed to improve his starts, typo there, starts and walls, especially because he was short. So that's why I put that there, especially as a butterflyer too. That can be really hard, and you're already behind the 8 ball, so to speak, with being a shorter swimmer in something like butterfly. You think about how tall Phelps is, and with his wingspan, it's already an advantage for him. So working with a shorter swimmer already, we knew we were kind of up against it, but we still went through the same process, the same movement assessments, performance tests, making the program, adapting it as we go. And then just recently, he got an offer from the University of Hawaii, and he was thrilled about it and let us know, hey, I'm so glad that I worked with you guys to help improve so he could go get the cuts that he wanted to get to the level that he wanted to swim at in college. So those are just some appetizers there for you, just some of the results we've seen both at the very beginning and then even recently, and there's a lot in between. Some we'll touch on here in a second. But the Surge Strength Dryland programs are for swimmers of all levels and most ages, I would say. So in the early age, we're looking at probably 11 to 13, somewhere around there. And it kind of is a case-by-case basis where how mature are they, a couple of their questions. That's why I always have a free call to kind of talk through it with any parents that are concerned about that. And frankly, we don't want it to turn into a negative situation either. So we'll have an honest conversation about if your child is ready for that. And believe it or not, I have turned a number of parents away where it's just like, hey, the kid's too young. I don't think it's going to work. I'm not worried about taking your money right now. It's just not going to work out well. And on the other hand, we'll talk about some swimmers that have goals of breaking records in their 90s for master swimmers that we've still been working with and since the early days as well. But it all comes back to the programs, no matter who we're working with individually or teams as well. It's specific to swimming performance, like I was talking about earlier. And we do it completely online, remote, via app. And each individual or coach, if we're working with a team, gets a dedicated Dryland certified coach to walk them through the whole way. So a lot of you haven't been in the Surge Strength Academy, at least yet. Hopefully after this webinar, you'll register for one of those free one-on-one courses. But I wanted to let you know how it's a little bit different from there. So the courses, we have ones for coaches, swimmers, whether you have a coach or self-coached as a swimmer, and then parents as well. All those courses are basically to give you some starter tips, maybe some things you can start to do, and a little bit of preview of what we offer. The custom Dryland program is that it's completely custom. We build it for where the swimmer or team is at today, and then try to scale it up over time. And most importantly, that Dryland certified coach is there supporting and helping them navigate the season and all the twists and turns that can happen in that journey. And so the actual program looks like this. On a weekly basis, we're sending you workouts through that secure and private workout app that we give you access to. So only you can access your Dryland program based on the unique code that we give you. And you don't want to think about every week the workouts completely change, but we update it on a weekly basis. So sometimes from one week to the next, we might be changing phases. So that's going to be a lot of difference in the workouts from a strength phase to a strength power or even a power phase, especially around that taper time. But sometimes in a phase, in a strength phase, in a week to week, maybe only a few things might change. Maybe we just change some reps or the tempo or some weight, or maybe even the order of exercises. All of these are variables that we can adjust. And especially the more beginner the athlete, we want to change it less often so that you can acclimatize to it. The more advanced you are, we will change the workout more. So that's a common question I'll get sometimes is, well, how often is my workout going to change? Well, it depends. Are you a brand new person dipping your toe into Dryland? Have you deadlifted before? Have you done pull-ups before? Or are you already well beyond that? Maybe you're squatting, 300 plus, deadlifting 300 plus, and you're looking for that little edge to maybe get the next Olympic medal around your neck. So all of that depends on how we put the program together. And that's on the intake and onboarding process. So once we get the programs, we also have a 2 times a month video calls with your Dryland certified coach. So these are check-in calls to see, hey, how's the program going? And it's every 2 weeks for a reason, so that, hey, sometimes life happens, right? I mean, even this week myself, I didn't get to all the strength workouts that I wanted to, but my goal is next week to get back on track. And that happens from time to time. I would say in general, if you're 80 to 90% hitting your workouts, that's what we want, because we understand life happens. Sometimes it's going to come up, but the every 2 week rhythm for the call helps to make sure that doesn't bleed in too long. So if it goes a month between call with your Dryland certified coach, hopefully you're hitting all the workouts, but chances are you might not be. And you might be missing out on some tips because chances are you've progressed over a few weeks and the Dryland certified coach can help you out. So it really is a collaborative effort. It is definitely not, hey, give us your money, we'll send you a workout, good luck, let us know how it goes next season. It's every step along the way. We're helping you and we're navigating if things pop up. Maybe your shoulder starts bugging you. Maybe you have travel and we have to switch the workouts. All those things we adapt to. So it really is a completely custom program for you. We also do regular reassessments throughout the process as well. So we do an initial one on the onboarding, and then throughout the season, and especially maybe postseason, we'll see how did we improve over the season besides the time improvements that we've seen in other reps, like how many pull-ups have changed and things like that. Now, it's real simple to get started. You just go to the website, surgestrength.com, go to the program section. There's a little orange button, get started now. Click that quick form to fill out just some information, background for me to understand before we get on the call. And then we'll talk through the call, any of the details or specific questions that you have. Now, the actual steps, once you get on the call with me and let's say, all right, Chris, I'm decided I'm going to go. Great. We have, oh, by the way, monthly payment options with no contract. Or if you want to commit annually, we'll give you a pretty healthy discount on that. So the steps, once you've made that decision and you want to get started with us on a program, these are the actual steps of what it looks like. So you can pay for your program either on that call, or I can send you a link afterwards to do that. Then you're going to watch the assessment and testing videos. And this is through access in the Surge Strength Academy that will give you to our onboarding program. And so then you're going to film yourself doing all of those movement assessments and performance tests. There are about 13 in total. It would take you about 20 to 30 minutes max to go to gym, set a camera up, make sure you get it all in. And you might even be able to knock it out faster depending on just how quick you are, mainly with the camera. Then you'll be able to share your files with your Dryland certified coach. All those details are in the academy and it's actually self-contained in there. We try to make it easy as possible. And every few years, we continually try to upgrade, say, how much easier can we make this onboarding process? Then once you share the files with your Dryland certified coach, you're able to schedule that first onboarding video call. It's 1 hour long. The first half of the call is really more seeing how did you do in terms of the assessments. And it's not, a pass fail kind of thing. It's, oh, you really have some restriction in your shoulders. We're going to need to address that in the program and also take some exercises out so we don't increase the chances of injury. Or it may be on the other hand, wow, everything looks good, no real restrictions. You're pretty strong. We got a green light. We're going to hit it hard from day one. That's what the first half of the call is really the Dryland certified coach walking you through what they see based on the videos that you shared. The second part of the call then shifts to those details of, okay, how many times a week are you able to work out? And most of the time, we want 3 windows of 45 to 60 minutes, ideally with a day in between. That's the ideal template. If you can't match that, that's okay. We'll work around that. But the ideal template is for you to have 3 windows every other day, 45 to 60 minutes, and some type of resistance equipment, gym access, something like that. So if you have practically no equipment, we can still do that program, but know it's going to be limited until you get at least a few pieces of equipment. And actually, the free one-on-one courses that a lot of you haven't been in, I have a specific video talking about the first step recommendation. So if you have 0 equipment and you're just like, okay, Chris, what's the first few items I'll get? And it'll cost you less than $100 or around there. I'll give you that information at the end of the one-on-one courses. So make sure you check those out. But once you finish that call with your Dryland certified coach, you can expect your first set of workouts in the app within a day or 2 of that call. And then you're off and running. And we're into that weekly rhythm of getting it updated every week. And then every other week or every 2 weeks in the month, you're doing that call to connect with your Dryland certified coach. And from there, we just continue to adapt the program until your championship meet, taper time, whatever it is, we're working towards some kind of goal there. Now, I want to be very upfront. Who are we not for? Because when someone kind of sneaks in that doesn't fit what we're looking for, or they're looking for something else and we're kind of expecting something else, everybody just kind of gets frustrated and no one wins that situation. So I really try to be upfront of who is this not for, because it saves me time and you money as well. So if you are not interested in regularly talking with someone like a Dryland certified coach, if you think you're going to ghost us for, a few weeks or even months, please don't even bother filling out the form. Believe it or not, we have people that will pay us and then ghost us for a few months and wonder why they aren't improving. Well, you got to do the workouts, number one, but you also have to communicate with us. It's really hard for us to program in the dark if you're not actively communicating. So we really want people that are interested in, I want a collaboration. I want someone to bounce ideas off of. I want to see, hey, this exercise wasn't working for me. Is there something else we can try? If those kind of questions are what interests you about Dryland, you are exactly who we want to work with. But if that's not your thing, you'd rather just get, a workout and do it on your own and not really communicate, not a problem at all. But that's not what we offer. So I'd suggest you go look somewhere else. The other thing we do not offer is cheap, cookie cutter, regular template workouts. You can find plenty of those around the internet for 0 to a few bucks, and good luck with them. We do not do that at all. We're the complete opposite end. So we're customizing everything based on you and collaborating along the way. And we really enjoy working in this way. And I think at this point, doing this enough years, going on our second decade here, we've been pretty successful with that. Also, when we think about workouts, I kind of talked about this earlier. We're not looking to just get you tired or get your tongue hanging out and sweating. We want to do the workouts with purpose. And that's with your dedicated Dryland coach with you every step of the way through that program. And then here's just a couple podcasts I wanted to highlight. So we have these are live on both our podcast feed and the articles we put on SwimSwam here. So this young lady, she was really burned out with swimming, wasn't sure if she was going to keep doing it. And then she joined us. Her mom reached out to us, and then she ends up getting her first future cut just less than a year later and is excited about that. I mean, think about what a change it is from thinking about, oh, I hate this sport, to now, wow, I wasn't even sure I could get to this level. And then talking about college, here's another young lady, Landry, who came to us about half a year before, almost a year before she was entering in college. And she just knew that she needed to get a stronger level. And in the podcast, she talked about how when she went on the recruiting visit, she was one of the few swimmers to raise their hand when the strength coach asked who has done a strength training program before. And that was really impressive and actually helped her in the recruiting process, and now is setting her up for more success into her freshman year in college. And then, like I said, on the other end of the age spectrum here, Ernie and Bernie, some of our favorites here. Ernie had the goal or the birthday present to him to do 72 pull-ups on his 72nd birthday. No, they're not consecutive, but still, how many of you, I can't even raise my hand the last time I did 72 pull-ups in a condensed amount of time like that. So that's awesome. And they have goals to try to break masters records in the 90 plus age group category. And we're looking forward to helping them for another few decades of training. So now I'm going to exit the program and we're going to switch over here. So again, we're going to roll with me here. Can you guys see the video? Can someone text me here? I want to make sure that you're seeing this. All right.
Was geared towards
the wrong video, actually. So here, hold on, guys. Still getting used to this. All right. I'm going to show you here we go. So this was actually, we have not released this podcast yet. I'm giving you a little bit teaser. This is going to be released in the next week or two. We just recorded it with a mom and daughter that started with us in the fall. And the kid had an absolutely amazing age group, or I forget the specific name of the meet just a few weeks ago, but it was incredible. All lifetime best, completely blew out of the water. And here's just a little snippet of that interview. Please type in the chat if you can't hear the sound, but I think we're going to be okay.
Well, she kind of went all in from the get-go. You know, as a parent, you wonder if, you know, is she going to do this program that we've kind of signed up for? And she did. She really wanted to get better in the pool and stronger and faster. So I just kind of stepped back and she, you know, went head first into the program. She was faithful to do the workouts. I guess initially we weren't swimming as much in the beginning, like when she began to work with Ann. And so it wasn't until a little bit later, you know, at the meets that I kind of noticed, you know, some incremental improvements. And she really ended on, I mean, just a fantastic note at the age group state meet.
I cut a lot of time at state.
Yeah.
Going into the meet, I wanted to get at least one top three. And I got that on my 100 breast. And over the whole season, I think I cut 5 seconds on my 100 breast.
She had some huge time drops at the state meet, at state championship in February, across the board. I mean, it just wasn't that there was one stroke. You could tell that she was stronger overall across the board. It was really, really impressive as far as I'm concerned, how well she did. And of course, that's a combination of everything. She's got a great coach and they have a great Dryland program. But just working with Ann on some specific things that were tailored for her and the areas where she needed individually a little bit of improvement, just kind of, you know, was just the perfect recipe for her to have success at the state championship this past February.
It was an amazing meet. That was the most amount of time I've cut in so long. And I'm pretty sure I might have gotten one quad A. And I'm like a second off my futures in my 100 breast. So I'm hoping to get that. And then I cut 6 seconds on my 200 IM. And over the whole season, I probably cut 12 seconds on my 200 breast, which was crazy.
Dryland is the secret weapon. I believe those are your words, actually, Chris. But no, having this personalized program, that speaks to what Kelly said about, in addition to what Mallory's already doing with her club program, having that personalization specific to her movements and to her goals has been the game changer. And I believe that's true for not just individuals, but also teams.
Mallory, what would you say to other swimmers maybe around your age and maybe in your situation of haven't had some best times in a while, or like, hey, I got goals, I want to get here, you know, a little frustrated? What would you say to them?
I feel like it's really important for the swimmer to put in the work, not just the coach. And if you do what they're telling you, and if it's like built specifically for you, especially, that it's a really good thing to do, especially for this, because it's so personalized and it changes throughout the months. And
you felt like you got a bonus coach here with Ann, I'm sure, this past season.
Yes, sir.
Kelly, about you? What would you say specifically maybe to other parents that are in similar situations, right? They have a kid that's putting in hard work. It's not that they're slacking, but the results aren't coming like maybe they were a couple seasons ago.
Well, I tell you, Chris, I'll admit I was skeptical at first. I mean, I thought, how in the world could there be anything else this child could do? Because she's such a hard worker anyways, that would help. But I tell you, I'm a believer now. I am. If you have a child that is motivated, because like Mallory said and Ann said, the child has to put in the work. But I just have nothing but good things to say about this program. Not only, the individualized workouts that helped her to reach her goals and helped her to kind of give her that extra edge in the pool, but just the encouragement that Ann gave her. I mean, just always asking her, what are you working on in the pool? What are your goals? And Ann, like she said, Ann kind of let Mallory drive the direction they went. Ann gave her the workouts that were, just perfect for what she needed to work on. But also she was so encouraging. I mean, if even for that aspect, I would highly recommend, the program. I just was really, really, really impressed with, this program that you've built and with Ann specifically as her kind of extra coach.